So a little while ago, right, the news came. We were getting this big budget Netflix joint, The Man from Toronto, starring Kevin Hart and Woody Harrelson. Now, I have to say, at a while back, I wasn't sure about Kevin Hart, right? Wasn't sure, but seen him in a few films now, and I gotta say, yeah, I don't mind him at all. You know what I mean? Woody Harrelson, obviously classic films, right? Solid actor. So it seemed like a no brainer to check out. You know what I mean? So this is it is written by um hold on. What am I doing? Dum dum dum. Yes, it is written by directed by whew, Patrick Hughes, written by Robbie Fox and Chris Bremner. Right? Um, it is produced by dum, 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 Todd Black, right? Jason Blumenthal and Stephen Tish. It is executive produced by Bill Bannerman, David J. Bloomfield, Jason Clough, Aaron L. Gilbert, co-produced by Haley Sweet, Saja Maraboyina, Chris Cole, right? Ramin Dewadi handled the music. Rob Hardy is on cinematography. Craig Alpert edits the film. Casting was from Lindsey Graham and Mary Vernew. Production design is Naomi Shawn. Art direction is Beat Frutiger, Brad Milburn, and Thomas Valentine. Set decoration is Jarrow Dick. Costume design is Virginia Johnson. So our cast, well, as mentioned, we got Kevin Hart as Teddy. We got Woody Harrelson as the man from Toronto. Jasmine Matthews plays Laurie, Hart's wife. Kaylee Cuckoo is Anne, Laurie's best friend. We have got Pearson Ford as the man from Miami. Ellen Barkin is the handler, right? She handles man from Toronto. Well, all the man's them from, right? We've got Agent Santoro, who is played by Giancarlos Canilia. Agent Davis is played by Ronnie Rao. Um, Colonel Marin is played by Alejandro de Hoyas. Daniela Martin is played by Layla Lauren. Oscar is played by Rob Archer. We got Agent Lawrence, played by Kate Drummond. Marty, who is Teddy's boss, I think. Still not quite sure. He's played by Martin Roach. I mean, they're the main people, right? So there's a load of people in the film, listed in the film, but I feel those are our main group. Okay. So yeah, the gist of the film is this. A case of mistaken identity arises after a screw up sales consult let's try that again, shall we? A case of mistaken identity arises after a screw up sales consultant and the world's deadly assassin, known only as the man from Toronto, run into each other at a holiday rental. There you go. Yeah. So there's been a load of films, right, with mistaken identity. It's one of them staples in Hollywood. But like all these films, they're slightly different, some better than others. You know what I mean? So it wasn't necessary. Actually, I mean, it's not like I knew the plot going in, but that necessarily wouldn't be like, ugh, I'm sticking away from this one. But now there's a load of explosions, there's action, all of that, right? They jam it all into the film. I kind of feel it, it just, it kind of felt disjointed, right? It just felt real disjointed, man. Ain't gonna lie, right? There's some good scenes with Harrelson, definitely some good scenes with, and he plays this kind of stoic character pretty well. There's just a lot of other stuff that I don't know, just didn't really work for me. Like the whole situation between Teddy and Laurie is very odd. And then the way Anne comes into it is so random. You're waiting for the twist, and there is none. So it's just like, what? You know what I mean? Because it's such a weird way this character suddenly just turns up that you just say to yourself, oh, there must be something else here. It can't just be this, but it is just this. It is. Right? It's just that with Teddy, you don't really know what he does because it's like, oh, he works for Marty, but then it's like, what? Doing what? Because we meet Teddy trying to sell all these different schemes, right? Boxing, um, there was a gym thing. It's just all these different kind of schemes that go nowhere, right? Now they go nowhere, but the boxing one is the one that seems to stick, even though it's gone nowhere. And we don't really know why that and not any of the other ideas we see from him, right? None of it is overly explained. There's also like Teddy boxing. I mean, we already have shadow boxing, right? Which is the same thing, and boxer size, which is again a little bit similar. So it's a bit like I don't know what that is. I think even think like Tybo is that. I feel is it Billy Banks? Feel it's Billy Banks, right? Yeah, it's like that whole thing makes no sense. It doesn't make any sense, and you're kind of wondering what does he do for Martin? Like what is happening, right? And it's like if he's spending all his time, how is this marriage working, right? Because we get, I feel with the whole marriage thing, we get these cliched situations, right? Firstly, it's just, right? It's like, oh, you're so crazy, you've got all these funny plans. Oh, I love you anyway. Oh, but you never do anything. You never follow. You know what I mean? And it's jumping all over the place. It's just like, wait, what is it? What's happening? Because like they always make this reconciliation, but it's like nothing's ever established, and then it's just like, I forgive you, but it's just like, but nothing's changed. You walked out because of this. Words have been said, which obviously have been said numerous times in the past. So, what's the difference here? What's happening? You know what I mean? It's just, yeah, it's odd. It's like because it's the whole mistaken identity thing and just all of that, which you're thinking, fine. But then we have all of these other things thrown in, right? where you've got the character undercover, but then saying stuff which they've written it. Oh, this will be funny. Let's have him do this. But it's just like if he did that, right? Obviously, anyone's gonna go, "Oh, you're wired." Right? Like that was the thing. It's just like, look, there's things you can do to make it funny, right? To add these different elements, but you can't have the character do things that would just have him either killed or, you know what I mean, just gripped up because they're just like, well, it's obvious that you're wearing a wire. Right, that's what's really weird because you have so many of those, right? So many situations where you're like, okay, but you know what I mean? That was the odd thing. It's just weirdly felt weirdly balanced. I don't know, people. I don't really know what the fuck to say. Right? It did not work at all for me. But right, you have all these other like Central Intelligence for one, right? Another Kevin Hart film. And you just think, okay, well, I think that audience would dig this. There's all of these other films that are just a bit OTT. And I'd say, like, if you're probably a fan of those, think you could like The Man from Toronto. I think they go a little hard on that whole The Man from Toronto because you kind of feel it's a moniker people might say because they're like, we don't know what he's called. I mean, I guess it's a man from Toronto, right? I hear he's from Toronto, man from Toronto. But yeah, I kind of feel that he's not calling himself that. He'd be like, "Hi, I'm the man from Toronto." He'd be like, "What?" You know what I mean? Like, and then they try and add more of these. Like I mentioned, is the man from Miami, right? Which again, I don't think they're calling themselves that. So you have all of this kind of craziness happening, but then characters saying things, and you're just like, but would someone actually say or call themselves that? Say that? I don't know. Right? I always feel like, no, that's not happening. It's not happening. Then these, the wife falling just for these real, transparent, you know, ideas. Right? Like none of them could hold up. Right? Like if you put a little scrutiny, someone's gonna be like, I call bullshit on that. I ain't buying it. What are you trying to sell me? And I feel that's the thing with this. It's like it definitely has the potential to be more than what it is, but I didn't really think it gets there. Now, if you like Central Intelligence, right? If you like I think a lot of like the rock buddy films, then yeah, The Man from Toronto, you will most likely dig it. But it's on Netflix now. So if you really want people, you can go and check